once you get over that hump of that fear, there's no fear on the other side. There's no fear once you finally get over it. And it's the most amazing feeling in the world. I have about 300 accounts that I manage now. I had about 25-ish, 30 when I started. So I did very well for myself by building a lot of accounts. I made a lot of relationships. I used to remember when I was able to put all of my bills on automatic pay, and we've been able to make those payments to give her the care that she needs and help. And I wish everybody could do that. That was another really cool feeling as a father. We've done very well for ourselves, you know. We have 4 trucks total. I'm very proud that I only owe $10,000 out of all 4 vehicles, and everything is paid for. So we don't have debt. You need help with the business, would you like to hire me? And I thought to myself, you know what, who more can I trust than my own daughter? Grandmother's initials. I didn't really know my mother until I was 17. 45, if that works for you.
Oh, it's all good. I'll be here all day.
Perfect. We'll see you shortly, okay?
Awesome. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Once you get over that hump of that fear, there's no fear on the other side. There's no fear once you finally get over it. And it's the most amazing feeling in the world. And that's kind of like, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, business is similar. Yeah, I finally got over that hump, and we're moving, and we're thinking, man, what was I so scared of?
Yeah.
But where I got to where I am at is just honestly being traumatized from the recession in 08 when that started. We lost my home in 2010. And to look an 8 and a 9-year-old daughter in the face and explain to them why they can't stay in their bedroom anymore and they have to go somewhere else, it changes you as a human. It changes you as a father, you know. And so you just realize that, you know, there's a bigger picture in life, and if I want to get there, then the risk has to be taken, and let's do this and see where it happens. And so we did it. I was working for a company, was very happy. I made a lot of money, was doing very well at one point. And more or less, as we're talking the years of 2016 to 2020, I was doing very, very well as a sales rep.
Yeah.
I was commission only. I was making on average $140,000 a year. I mean,
yeah, that's good.
Holy Toledo, that's a lot of money, right?
Right.
And I was happy where I was at. No idea that I wanted to change or do what I was doing. And the company got sold. New owners came in. They had a different perspective, and they pulled me aside immediately the first day, and they took me to lunch and said to me right off the bat, the next highest paid guy to you is $70,000 a year.
Wow.
Why are you making $140,000?
Making double.
Correct. And I said, well, no offense to that gentleman. He's a great guy. He's a lead on a commercial crew. He's a great person, but what I do is I'm commission only. I don't make $1 unless I sell it. And the owner has no risk in it because he's not paying me anything until something gets sold. And the new owners still didn't like the dollar amount that I was making. And they just said, well, here's what we want to do. We want to make you, if you're willing, we want to make you an owner of this company, make it legitimate. We want to get lawyers involved. We have a contract. You'll literally be one of the owners. And in return, we'll give you a salary of $90,000 a year.
Wow.
Well, immediately when you're used to living on the 140, you take 50 grand out of somebody's back pocket. And not saying that 90 isn't enough to live. It is. It's a great, great salary. So, but where things turned for me is I agreed to it because I knew that, hey, if the business is profitable, just like any other business owner, you're taking a risk. If it's profitable, you'll make up everything that the 50 grand that you're taking. And so I agreed to it, said, this is a great business. I know where it's going. Let's do this. Well, once I signed the non-compete disclosure and all the other things, they came back and said, we changed our mind. We're going to go a different direction. So now they have my salary secured, changes their mind. I'm no longer. So unfortunately for myself, it made me a disgruntled employee. It really did. And I'm not proud of it, but I was. And to the point where I just said, I don't want to work with these people. They want to micromanage me. They don't understand how to do my job. They've never been in the garage door industry. And I couldn't work with them. So they ultimately terminated me. They let me go.
Wow.
And when they terminated me, that's when I said, this is the time. I don't want to go to work for another company. I have about 300 accounts that I manage now. I had about 25-ish, 30 when I started. So I did very well for myself by building a lot of accounts, made a lot of relationships. And when I made that leap, once I was let go and I said, this is what I'm going to do, my wife came up with the name Sublime Garage Doors, and she made the logo and got everything rolling for me. We got a truck and rack and took off. And day one.
Been an employee.
Correct.
So I guess take us to that moment when you actually decided, I'm going for this, right? Because there's a lot of fear. You're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it, and the fear really was a discussion with my wife and I, and she was more scared than I was. I was nervous, but I also knew that I had a lot of relationships and a lot of friendships that knew what I did, knew the talent that I have, and the ability to bring what I have to the customers. And she encouraged me to go to another company and get another job. And I just said to her, hey, if this doesn't work out 6 months down the road or a year down the road and we're starving, I said, I'm not gonna let my family starve. We'll shut it down, and I will humbly go back to another company, because then I can check that off my bucket list. I tried it, it just didn't work for me. And I had to make that. I had to be able to look myself in the mirror, I had to do that. And she's backed me on it, and there you go. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Derek. Hey, sorry to bother you, but hey, dude, are you doing a garage door for us at 2079?
It's one door that we're matching another one, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, we are. We are waiting for 2 sections to be made, and I had to the point where I had to have help. It was either I had to turn people away or I had to get help, and so we started hiring a couple people, and luckily for us, it's really worked out well. So I have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be blessed for. But you know, being on this side of it, what I could encourage employees to understand is that for the longest time, you think as an employee that the owner is just getting rich and rich and rich off of you, and that's really not true. The amount of taxes and the expenses to run the business, you don't see that as an employee. And all of a sudden, when you have that headache and stress figuring out how am I going to make payroll, how am I going to buy tires, how am I going to buy another truck, oh, you think you made a really great chunk of money, and then the IRS comes along and says, well, we want our portion too. And all of a sudden you're thinking, man, why am I working like this for this kind of money? And so what I more or less would like to, if anything comes out here, is that anybody watching or listening as an employee, do your best, put your best head on your shoulders and do the best you can for yourself, and you'll always be able to go somewhere, rather than worrying about how much money the owner's making or what, because the more profitable the business becomes, your secured job, and you have opportunity in front of you. And that's where I kind of wish I could go back, and I was a great employee, but I do think, man, I could have been a little better. And I think there's a lot of disconnect for a lot of current employees out there that just...
So what have been some of the biggest challenges, I would say, just in that first year of starting your business?
The biggest challenges the first year was being by myself, was, trying to figure out how to get the next day ready to go while you still have 6 or 7 service calls or 2 doors to remove and haul and install. You're still trying to get your daily work done, but also prepare for the next day where you're picking up product, doing estimates and all those things, intermixing with still trying to get your current customers taken care of. That's the hardest thing. When you have some help and some employees or sales reps to work for you, then all of a sudden that door opens up. It allows to take a little off your plate and responsibility on other people, but until that happens, that's the biggest thing, is trying to figure out your time to juggle it, along with also being a dad and a husband. Trying to figure out how do I juggle that, that date night with my wife, and the extra time my kids need with their schoolwork or whatever that they're wanting from us, or extracurricular activities. That's the hardest thing.
Just someone that's considering, like they've been an employee, they've always had that dream, they have a family, and they have an idea. What would you say to them in terms of?
I would say to them, learn as much of the business as you possibly can working for your employer. I know it may sound silly, but make the mistakes on their dime if you can, because you're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So the more you learn, the less you're going to have mistakes of going out on your own. You're still going to have mistakes. That, and just learning how to deal with the amount of stress. You, as an employer in a business, when you have employees, you're dealing with very large amounts of money. And that doesn't go away, because there's times I think, oh my goodness, okay, this is an $80,000 job we're doing, and I'm thinking, okay, if we have, you know, $25,000 in profit that we're working with when it's all said and done, well, what if something goes sideways and all of a sudden I don't have this job anymore and I have to go back to an $18 to $20 an hour job? How would I repay this? I could never do that. And so that stress sets in, and it wants to start beating you down, and you just got to keep pushing forward and know it's going to be okay. I'm not the only one. But I would say the biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand that can solve a lot is just communication. Communication is so huge. Just telling somebody, okay, this is what we're planning on doing, this is what's going on, rather than not communicating. Now the assumptions go crazy. So you have to communicate with people, and you realize communication will allow everything to flow a lot easier if you just communicate with people.
You're like, where after you started your business, where you're like, dude, like, this is awesome. Like,
there was.
What was that like?
There is, you know, and it's, I gotta be careful how I say it, but my entire life as an employee, from the time I was 16 until probably a couple years before I started this business, I lived paycheck to paycheck. We really did. We struggled. My wife was a stay-at-home mom, which we made as a couple. We made a decision together that this was the best for our family, and we'll sacrifice going on vacation and going out to eat and doing other things. And that right there, it's when you get to a point where what you're asking me, the good things is, I used to remember when I was able to put all of my bills on automatic pay. That was the first time. That's probably, to me, I almost thought to myself, I think I made it in life. And all I did is put my utility bills on pay, you know, auto pay, to where, because I'm working with the business, so I don't have time to deal with this. Just get the bills paid, and we're not missing a payment. That was one of the coolest feelings ever, I thought. And it's so little, but to me that was huge. To not worry about, can I pay the electric bill? Yes, we are in a financial position where we're doing okay, but we can't stop being humble. We can't stop being appreciative about a $10 job, a $100 job, or a $50,000. That doesn't change anything. You still stay humble and move forward. And that right there, when I was able to put that on auto pay, I was like, oh, I can breathe for a second. You know, wow, this is really, and I don't want to lose that feeling, you know? Right. And that right there. There's been a couple times we have a daughter that, you know, has some medical conditions, and she has to go to some specialists that don't take insurance, and we have to pay out of pocket. And we've been able to make those payments to give her the care that she needs and help. And I wish everybody could do that. That was another really cool feeling as a father, to be able to, I guess, make sure that you know that your family's okay. Because that's every day. No offense to my customers, but I put my shoes on for my family. I don't put my shoes on for my customers, but my customers are appreciated almost equally as much. But if it wasn't for my family, I don't know how I'd put my shoes on, you know? So it starts with them. It starts there. So, man, that's real. Yeah, it is. It's there's such a bigger picture with your family and your customers, and that's what motivates me, is being able to know that it isn't just my future, it's their future too. And like my employees now, there's only 5 of us total, and I consider myself as one of those. And just keep doing what you're doing. And as this business starts to grow, if it does continue to grow like it does, there's so much more opportunity for these current employees to be able to help run this business as we keep continuing to grow. We've only been in business for 3.5 years, and we've done very well for ourselves. You know, we have 4 trucks total. I'm very proud that I only owe $10,000 out of all 4 vehicles, and everything is paid for. So we don't have debt. We don't have debt going forward. We can manage company expenses, and we can manage setbacks to continue to keep going forward. Just putting everything we can back into the business, not into my pocket. You know, we've bought a couple small things for ourselves, but we live in a regular home. We're not that. We're very modest, humble people, and I never want to change that. I really don't. I enjoy my lifestyle, being low key and being able to give back where I can. This is a management company that we do. This is, obviously you can see the doors completely compromised. The top 2 panels. stress cracks. This is metal fatigue. So we have all 4 panels. We have the bottom, the second one, the third one. And so, yeah, this door would be complete. This door would be done, considered done. You could put braces on it, but you're just temporarily fixing it, and it's the point where we got to give them bad news saying, hey, I'm sorry, but this is one that will need to be replaced. Won't be.
How are you?
Good. I got John Redmond here with you. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, John.
Hi.
I just went by the very first call here for Red Hawk. I just texted you over all the photos. If you don't mind going and uploading those to Red Hawk and start working on getting approval for a new door. She has a 16 by 7 short panel, non-insulated, and let's go almond in color. And it's just one door, so we're not matching anything, but they do need a new door. It has stress cracks on all 4 sections, and the top panel is completely bent in to where it's inoperable and unsafe. So we did not fix it. We just secured the garage door motor because it was kind of hanging by 1 bolt. So we did secure that so nobody gets hurt. But if you could please upload those photos and start on getting an approval to that.
Okay, so do you want me to just kind of like disregard this job, or am I
No,
working it?
no. We're not charging anything right now. It's just an estimate. So, but they needed a whole new garage door. There's nothing we can do for them. So I just need you to get a hold of Red Hawk and get an estimate put together and sent over to them for an approval.
You got it.
So they can contact the owner.
Okay, I'm doing that now.
Okay, thank you. Love you.
All right, love you. Bye.
Bye. It's so cool having her working here with me.
That's so cool.
It's really cool. She tells me things that whether I want to hear it or not, you know, she's not afraid to confront me and go, that's not right. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
And so she's very, very vocal.
Yeah.
She doesn't hold back. Sometimes a little too vocal, but she's got a huge heart, and she was a CNA for the last 4 years, and she got her CNA license in high school, even through the EVIT program. And she was very happy. She loved her job, and she developed a major allergic reaction to iodine.
Oh, wow.
And so she would just walk into a room and her throat would start to swell shut.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I had to go pick her up from the facility a couple times after getting Benadryl injections. And so she was kind of forced to find a new line of work. And she came to me last July and said, hey, before I find another line of work, do you need help with the business? Would you like to hire me? And I thought to myself, you know what? Who more can I trust than my own daughter? You know, and so I said, yeah, because I run the business from this cab. So now she gets to work from home, and she does all of our scheduling, and she controls all that for us, and getting the estimates together on stuff like this. The sales rep that we have, which is Nate, he does a lot of the custom builders where he meets with them and finds out the product they need, or if he's not available, then I do it. So we have a good little flow, and it works.
Yeah. So on the business side, what percentage of your, I guess maybe break it down, your customer buckets, residential, commercial?
That's a great question. So on the residential side, we're probably about a 90% residential company. We that is our bread and butter. That's what we do. We're residential. So it was very tight for a few years during that recession. That's what really changed me and motivated me to say, you know what? I will work as hard as I can to make sure I never have to look my child in the eye again and tell them why they can't have their bedroom, you know, those type of things, you know, is providing as a father.
Yeah. Wow.
It all bases that. Everything I do every day, the way I run this business, all bases on that, my family, everything.
Being able to provide for them.
Being able to provide for them and give them an opportunity in the future. So,
wow.
And to be able to be blessed with that in the future again, that's my ultimate goal in my life. I want that. I want that big thing. Like this right here is my grandmother's initials. I didn't really know my mother until I was 17, so my grandma was my mom. So I want to be able to get back to my grandchildren and great-grandchildren the way things are given to me. That's my goal. And I think we're doing the right thing. I think I am. So I'm not going to stop and keep on going and see where we end up. But I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to do what I do. And right now, going back to your question, I'm comfortable saying I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.